Now admittedly, this is not the type of video I really enjoy making. Typically I talk about numbers and the business. Today I'm talking about Augusta Lawn Care because this was the most upvoted comment on a recent post I made asking what type of video you wanted me to make on the whiteboard. And I said I would make the video for the person that had the most up comments, and Brent the Great had a great comment because he's Brent the Great, so he made a great comment. And the comment was, why should someone join Augusta Lawn Care that already has a big business? And so first and foremost, let me just say right up front, I am extremely biased. By you doing what I'm going to talk about in this video, I have financial incentive for you to join Augusta Lawn Care. I own 100% of the company, so that's the first thing. Second thing is, the best way to figure this out is talk to other franchisees. Because a lot of them had businesses before joining Augusta, and some of them had $1 million businesses before joining Augusta Lawn Care. So talk to them. Now I would typically say names, but I don't want to overburden them with calls and things. Like, they got to run their own business too. So if you're going to reach out to franchisees, please just be respectful of their time. They're all very, very kind, but like, they're trying to run their business too. But let's go ahead and jump through the 5 things that I thought of really quickly this morning, like 2 seconds ago, of why someone would join if they already have an existing business that's doing $500,000-$600,000 in revenue, or even millions in annual revenue. Why would you join Augusta Lawn Care, all right? Number one, again, I don't like talking about this stuff because it just makes me, I feel like I'm selling stuff. I promise you, I'm answering the question to the best of my ability, and I feel like I have a good understanding because I have 8 locations, I have big locations, I have small locations, but please talk to other franchisees. Number one is the valuation and financing. From a valuation perspective, your business is going to have a higher valuation being part of a franchise. The bottom line is, until you get about to $10 to $15 million in annual revenue, your valuation will be better with a franchise. The reason for that is because it really takes $10 to $15 million in annual revenue to build systems out in terms of the office and admin and the back-end systems for marketing to be able to actually present this to someone who is willing to buy your business and say, oh, it's worth a lot of money. Until then, it's usually not worth much more than the assets of the trucks and vehicles. Honestly, if you look at how many small businesses are sold, it's usually for about asset value, maybe for a touch above that for goodwill and for branding or a client list or a contact list. But valuation is higher for franchising because the potential buyer has more confidence that, number one, the systems are in place, and that when the owner is removed from the business, that the business can still operate. They're not as concerned about, okay, if it's Larry's Lawn Care and Larry leaves, what happens to the business? Or what is Larry not telling me because he has the advantage of knowing all the information, whereas the potential buyer doesn't have the information. As a franchisor, we're able to give the buyer a lot of just peace of mind, knowing, hey, like, we can vet these numbers, we can validate these numbers as a third party and give you all the information because we don't have any financial incentive whether you join as a franchisee or if the current franchisee continues their term. We simply can validate the numbers for a potential buyer and give a huge amount of trust. I personally bought into a franchise, Anytime Fitness, before I started Augusta Lawn Care, and the number one reason was because the franchisor could validate all the numbers, the number of members, the number of training clients, all the revenues for the past 3 years. They could validate all of that for me, so it put me at ease, and I was willing to pay a top dollar, back then top dollar, to be able to buy into a gym franchise. We've now doubled that revenue, and if I were to ever go sell the business, the same thing would apply. I would be asking for probably the top 0.5% of valuations of gyms in America, but I would be able to get that because my franchisor would be able to validate all the numbers and be able to show it to the potential buyer. The financing is the same exact thing is true. When you have an operating agreement and a franchise agreement to be able to show to a bank, they are much more likely to give you financing because it improves the confidence level of them just knowing that you're following systems, you have procedures, there's back-end systems in place, and that if you get hit by a bus, their financing, the loan that they give to you is more secure because there is back-end systems in place to help support the business. It's also, when you have the SBA, Small Business Administration, is much more friendly to franchising when it comes to SBA loans for S7A or 504 loans, mostly 7As or micro loans. There's a micro loan, there's a 7A program. they're much more lenient to give financing to a franchise business, and I know this for a fact because I applied for the locations that I am starting just to see how the process went, and as soon as I was able to say, look, if I sign all these franchise agreements, is this going to help me? And they said, yes, please sign them. I never got the loan, but I went through the process, and trust me, when they saw the franchise agreement, they made sure that it was in my financing packet because it definitely helps me in the whole process of finding financing. So it's much simpler. I wouldn't say simpler. It gives the financing team and the underwriters a lot of confidence knowing that you have dozens of legal papers, you have things in place and systems behind you, and you're not just making things up on the fly, okay? Number 2 is for multiple locations. I have 8 locations. We have several owners that have multiple locations inside of Augusta Lawn Care. I think next year will probably be the first time we get 3+ locations, but there's quite a few that already have 2. But if you're joining, you already have $1 million business, multiple locations is what I would be, the main reason I personally, from a financial perspective, would be joining Augusta Lawn Care. And that's the ability to be able to have like a regional chain of 10, 15 locations and being able to have, not have to go buy a shop space and an office. You can literally buy or rent some land behind a store that you can park your stuff because you don't need an office with utilities and computers and phones and finding an office team and training an office team. You have Command Center on the back end to be able to help with all of that, and we can do everything from emails to payroll to estimates to you literally manage everything. And so when I go out and get my general managers, I don't have to worry about them understanding back-end systems and advertising and how to put their website together and anything like that, because that's all handled by Command Center in the back end, and so I can scale much faster. It'd be very difficult to start 2 or 3 locations independently by yourself. With Augusta Lawn Care, I'm starting 4 new locations in like the same couple weeks. Right? I just did right now. And the reason that's possible is because I just got to find the GMs and plug them into the system. And that leads me to number 3, and that's training for your general managers. So as you get multiple locations, you can just send your general managers to training, and in 1 week, they're going to get caught up on everything that an owner would otherwise, a regular franchisee, would otherwise be trained at for our initial training. So you can literally just send them here, and if they work out, great. If not, you find a new GM, you throw them here for another week of training, and they come back and they're ready to go. So it's way better than you having to find somebody and then train them up for 3-4 weeks trying to like kind of put things together, and then they don't work out, and you're like, oh man, I'll just wait till next year. It's easier to find a GM and then just send them to training, and then they have to pass certain tests at training just to be qualified to run your location. So they have to pass a software test as well as a overall systems test, and if they don't do those things, they can't ever actually start a location. So it's a great way to vet your GMs and make sure they're caught up to a certain level to be able to actually run the location efficiently. Number 4, if you're joining and you already have an existing business that's pretty established, teaching other people and being part of the community is probably very important, I would say. And a reason why you would join Augusta is when you start teaching the guys who are new, there's definitely a level of, number 1, just fulfillment, because you're able to help other people do what you've done. And number 2, there is definitely, you iron out the systems and understand the systems more when you teach other people. And the advantage we have inside of Augusta Lawn Care is we're all using the same systems. We're all using the same email templates and automations, and we use all Command Center, like because we use all the same stuff as P4P, and we use all the language that we use is all the same. So when you're teaching other people, you actually begin to understand and learn the systems much more, and you're better at then training your crew and your team because you are constantly training new owners on how to do these systems. I know this for a fact because when I was really young, I skipped grades in school. And the reason I attribute that to is because I did kindergarten 3 times. And by doing that, I got the fundamentals down so much that from grade 1 and on, I was always the one that would be training and teaching my peers. And when I was finished my math, I would then help everyone else do their math. And what actually happened is I ingrained the skills and the fundamentals of Common Core English and math and all these other things that it became much more part of me, because teaching it just takes the system that you learn to a whole other level. Instead of just doing it yourself, teaching, you have to figure out, okay, they come back with certain like objections or problems that you didn't think of, and then you got to kind of think on your feet and come up with a solution. By doing that and teaching other owners and being part of the community, that's what really unlocks a lot of learning, in my opinion. And honestly, the community Augusta Lawn Care is nothing to do with me. It's simply the greatest community, in my opinion, in the lawn care and landscaping industry. There's a great group of people, and we weed people out simply if they are not good community members. And we've closed 2 locations because they were not embodying the values of Augusta Nation. They were paying their fees. They were actually growing their business. But they weren't good people in the community, and we went ahead and let them go. We guard this with our life. Number 5 is the financial sense. It makes a lot of sense to join Augusta Lawn Care if you're making $1 million in annual revenue and it's a $1,200 per month commitment. That's all it is. If you want to use Command Center, you can, and that's an extra cost. But the actual monthly fee, the $1,200 that you're going to pay, makes a lot of sense when you're doing $1 million plus. It makes more and more sense the bigger you get, because at $1 million in annual revenue, you're going to spend $14,400. Is that right? $14,400 in a year on franchise fees, which is like 1.4% of your revenue. So it makes a lot of sense, and for that 1.4%, you're getting your website, you're getting access to Command Center, you're getting all these different tools and trainings in terms of the academy, all of your marketing material, all this stuff is done for you, and the ability to send people to training, all that stuff for like 1.4% of your revenue. It's a great royalty, okay? The math makes more and more sense the bigger you get, because we don't charge a royalty. We don't charge 5-6% plus a marketing spend. We don't do that. We charge $1,200 a month, and that's it. So makes more sense, especially if you're using like P4Psoftware.com, because you get that for free. Everyone inside of Augusta Nation gets P4P for free. That's $200 a month right there. And so if you do that, and then like even lawn care web design, that's $400 a month. So, well, $400 plus $200 for P4P, just the software is like, and the website, immediately you just save yourself $600 a month if you would just go get those services elsewhere. So it just makes more and more financial sense, honestly. And that leads me in the vertical integration part of things. As Augusta grows, over the next several years, you're going to see more and more vertical integration, whether it be the tax side of things that we offer at Home Service CPA, whether it be the media side and the marketing side, whether it be P4Psoftware.com or CopilotCRM.com. These are all things I'm building out to vertically integrate for our franchisees. Down the road, we'll have a bank. Down the road, we'll have a whole bunch of other services. But being part of Augusta will always give you the vertical integration where everything fits together the most seamless. For example, with P4Psoftware.com, the majority of users are still Augusta Lawn Care franchisees. Why? Because all aspects of our business model is built around P4P. So it makes it easier for them to adopt things like pay for performance, because our whole business model is built around it. And so it's easier for them to use our tax service, because Command Center runs all their invoices, and they runs all of their books and their expense categorization and their P&Ls and their quarterly reports. They do all of that. So it's really easy to run their taxes. We can give them a discount. They don't have to pay what we have to charge at Home Service CPA, because they're vertically integrated. Everything is being done inside the system. And as we begin to scale up Augusta Nation and we begin to have more and more services that we can offer, the bulk of those discounts and the bulk of the efficiencies gained will come through Augusta Nation, because they're vertically integrated. So CopilotCRM.com will vertically integrate with P4P. P4P will integrate with the website. All of these things will integrate, but I guarantee you that less than 0.25% of people outside of Augusta Nation are going to actually get all these services. And if they did, it would make absolutely no financial sense. They should just join as being a part of Augusta Nation for the $1,200 a month. But from a vertical integration standpoint, I truly believe that all of these pieces that we put together, whether it be the CRM, whether it be P4P, all these things that we're building, I believe putting it all together is what is going to make an incredible business model that in 5 years will be looked at as like, that's unique, and furthermore, it's very hard to compete with, because putting it all together is the magic. Taking one piece out, taking one part of the system out, like profit sharing or P4P, taking one part of that out is going to break the whole thing, in my opinion. And so vertical integration of all these different things that we're building with software and the systems that we have at Augusta Nation together is where the power is at, and we'll always offer these to the public for a premium that we can fund these sort of developments. But it makes a lot more financial sense the bigger you get to be able to tap into the program, pay the $1,200 a month, be part of the community, have the training, the resources, all the marketing material, your website being taken care of. That's really what Augusta Nation is all about. And I hope they answer your question. So that was the highest ranked question. I got through it. Comment below if you have any more questions about that specifically. But going forward, we can go to the other questions that were asked on that post and that aren't about Augusta. So if that was really boring to you, I apologize. If it wasn't boring to you, watch this video here. Talks more about why you might want to join Augusta. And until then, we'll see ya.